So tell us your name, how old you are, and how long you've done CrossFit.
My name is Kaylee. I'm 17 years old, and I've done CrossFit for just under 2 years.
My name is Grace. I'm 15 years old, and I've done CrossFit for almost 6 months.
My CrossFit role model is Danny Spiegel.
Mine is Mel OBrien.
Prior to CrossFit, did you play any sports?
I did gymnastics for 10 years.
And what did your days look like with gymnastics?
When I started it, it was an hour a week, and then as I kept going, it was 16 hours a week, and then towards the end, it was 21 hours a week.
Okay, so how is CrossFit different than gymnastics?
Gymnastics had a lot of pressure to be perfect on everything. Like, you wanted your skills to be perfect. You wanted to have, like, just a perfect practice every day, and you wanted to be good at everything. You were, like, constantly judged about if you're perfect or not. And in CrossFit, everyone has their, like, strengths and weaknesses, and you know you're not going to be perfect at everything, and that's, like, perfectly fine.
And how is the community different?
They're just a lot more, like, welcoming and supportive, and in gymnastics it wasn't really that way. I mean, I had, like, supportive teammates, but it wasn't, like, a supportive community, and you didn't, like, really feel, like, safe or, like, loved in gymnastics.
And what does it mean to you to be a young female CrossFit athlete?
To be a young female CrossFit athlete, when I first joined I was really overweight, and I just joined to lose weight and like the way I looked in the mirror. And I learned very quickly that CrossFit was about so much more than just your person and your human. It was about being a part of a community that was there to invest in you from when you were young until you grow old. So to be a young CrossFit athlete, it's really just been about finding a community that is there to help you grow.
Have there ever been instances where you've been nervous to do something, maybe at the gym, that you haven't done before?
Yeah, so really in particular, any day that there are snatches on a workout, it could be on a Friday and I'm looking at the schedule on a Monday and I'm like, man, I really don't want to be here Friday because it's one of my biggest weaknesses. And Tristan always tells us, you know, with our programming, there's like so much programming as a development athlete, and you know that you have certain things you need to do. And he always says, do the thing you don't want to do the most, because that's probably something you struggle with. So when I come in, I'm like, man, I really don't want to do these snatches, but I'd rather do cleans and all this other stuff. I attack the snatches. And that sort of mindset applies to your life and things you want to do. You know, maybe it's an essay, maybe it's making a leap, but like taking a leap of faith in your job or your career. It's about attacking the hard things and the things you're not good at, and then applying it to your everyday life.
You often see posts on social media about body image and how women should look. How has CrossFit helped how you see yourself?
Well, when I did gymnastics, gymnasts are very small and, like, petite, and that's what you wanted. Like, you wanted to have that very small, thin build, and I never really I never had, like, a small frame, and that wasn't necessarily something that was helpful in gymnastics. So when I came to CrossFit, it definitely helped because everyone has a different body type and everyone's there to work on themselves, and it doesn't really matter what you look like or what your shape or size is, because it's just not, like, something you need to worry about.
When I first started, I was one of those who, you know, just walking around high school, the ideal body type is really thin. Women are really developing at this age, and it's all about looks and aesthetics and what guys want. And so when I first started, I was like, man, I just want to look good in the mirror. That's all I wanted. And for the first time in my life, I stepped in the gym, and if you look around, there are no mirrors in here. It's about your form, it's about your PRs, it's about what you're doing as a person. And in CrossFit, if you look at any of the games athletes, it's not about aesthetics. they eat to train, they eat to fuel their bodies, they don't eat to be super thinny, a size 2. We eat to be strong and powerful, and we train to be powerful and to feel good about what we can do with our bodies rather than just how they look. And that's one thing. Back when I first started CrossFit, I was really struggling with body image. That was July of 2020. And that same month, Danny Spiegel had posted this post, and it was all about how she had struggled to love her body and how people are always critiquing it. And within it, she's like, your body is beautiful, and learn to just love it for what it can do and not what you see or think or feel about it, but what it can do. And she's like, I know it's a really hard thing to do, but I'm damn proud of you for doing it. And so that post is something that I think about every day. It's like, it's not about what I look like today, you know? It's about what I can come in here and do.
I noticed that you said Mel OBrien is your CrossFit role model. She is one of the young women CrossFitters. So why do you feel that you identify with her?
I feel like most girls our age don't want to have that bulky look, I guess. And I feel like she just embraces that she's strong and that she's very capable of doing whatever she needs to do, and it just helps me realize that looking strong is okay, and it's not something that only men can look like. Yeah.
Another thing too that I realized over the past week is I went to my first CrossFit event where games athletes were present. And on our way to Wadapalooza, you would see people on the plane in Nobles, and you're sizing them up, and you're like, man, she's got some really nice quads. You're like, man, they look nice. And you're looking at everybody's body types, and when you're around this community, at first I was like, man, my arm's looking pretty small this weekend. And then you would go and you're watching the events in the barbell complex, and you see these really tiny women out there, and you're like, they're gonna struggle with this weight. And then you'd see these really much larger frame-built women. You're like, man, they're gonna devour that weight over there. And by God, we would be watching, and the little one is out there beating them all. And so it was such an eye-opening moment for me to just in person see that your body type means nothing. It doesn't matter if you're big or small. Just out there and seeing it in front of my eyes, you're capable of so much more if you just. It's not off of what you look like or that number on the scale. So it was a really eye-opening moment.
Do you have any words of wisdom for young women CrossFitters or just young athletes in general?
I would say to any young women out there, find a community. Find people who are there to push you and love and support you. And within that community, it's not just about CrossFit and moving barbells. Within our community, I've found people who are in careers that I'm interested in. I've found job shadows. I've found mentors. I have found wealth and wellness as a whole person within my community. And so I encourage you all to try something new and find a community to support you, because life changes rapidly and you need that community to fall back on.
I would just say that to just be confident in yourself and just show up, and it might suck and it might be something you're really bad at, but if you just work towards it, then it'll get better.
Grace. Okay. All right, that's it. Great job.
Oh, my armpits are really sweaty.